Hey everyone, how's it going? Okay, today I thought I would talk to you guys about setting a pattern of trolling lures, because I think too many people kind of overthink things when it comes to trolling for tuna and marlin, and I think that then leads to people overdoing things and actually making mistakes. So before I talk about the lures themselves, the first thing I want to start with is how many rods do you need to troll with, or how many should you troll with? Now, as I've been doing this for longer and longer, I firmly believe that more is less. I almost never troll now with more than 4 rods. 4 is basically the maximum, and a lot of the time it's actually 3. Because the bottom line is, more rods, more chances of tangles, more gear to put out, more stuff to worry about. When you get a hook up, more gear to bring in, all that sort of stuff. And to be totally honest, I do not believe you actually catch any more fish by having any more rods in the water. Seriously, and that's whether you're fishing for marlin or for tuna. So a lot of the times, I literally just fish 3 rods now and a teaser. That's it, 3 rods and a teaser, and that's more than enough, because how many fish do you want to actually deal with if you get a hook up? Like, let's be honest, it's hard enough to fight 1 marlin and keep the deck clear. So I know that sort of goes against the grain of what most people do, but yeah, honestly, I just run 4 rods. That's basically it. And it's because of the reason that I only run 3 to 4 rods. You guys may have noticed that I don't actually run outriggers on my boat. Now, I'm not saying outriggers aren't good. Outriggers are good. However, if I'm only running 3 rods, I really don't need them, because I typically run a shotgun rod from here or up the top of the hard top, and then I just run a rod from basically each of the back corners. That's it. Sometimes one up from the very back corner. So again, it comes down to simplicity. I didn't put outriggers on the boat because I want everything to be as simple as possible. And if I'm only running 3 rods, I don't really need outriggers. So look, that's basically it with that topic. I'm not saying they don't help, but to be perfectly honest, I haven't noticed catching any more fish on the boats that I've had with outriggers versus without. And I know there's all these theories about getting your lures out into clean water and all that sort of stuff. All I would say is this: what's far more important is making sure you are fishing when the conditions are right, water temperature's right, current's right, there's bait, etc. If you get all of those right, to be perfectly honest, and the marlin and the fish are around, they will bite. They don't give a stuff whether you've got outriggers or 7 lures or 3 lures. That's basically what I've learned. So if you focus on doing all the basics right, you really don't need those extra 1% factors. And a lot of people that do install outriggers, you know, they can cause damage to your boat depending on the style. I've had mates that have actually had the sides of their hard tops crack by the outriggers causing too much stress, and they've had to get them welded up and repaired and that. So I'm not saying that happens to every boat, but it is a factor. All right, time to get some lures out. The further the lure is away from your boat, the less of an angle it basically has on it. Okay, so it goes out further, the line is flatter. What that means is it's gonna try and pull the lure out of the water less. Okay, it's gonna be able to swim and hold in the water easier. So in your longer positions, you can run lures that have a long slender head, something like this. You can run a jet-headed lure. You can run basically anything, but typically the ones with the longer heads, something like that, or a bullet style or a jet head, will actually run better in the shotgun positions, because they don't really need to grip and hold themselves in the water because the line is long and kind of flat. Now, as you work your way back towards the boat, obviously the lures have more of an angle on them. So what that means is they need to be designed in a way so they actually grip the water, okay, and they don't pull out of the water. So what I mean by that is you need to really be running a lure closer to your boat that has a bit of a shorter head and can potentially even have a shape to it that allows it to grip the water. So I've got this nice little Jets lure here. It is a Jets Insane, and you can see it's actually got a indented cup on the front of it. Okay, bit of a shorter head and fatter. So this lure, I know for a fact, will run well closer to the boat. So basically, as a principle, further away from the boat, you can run a smaller head, a longer head, they will work better. But the closer you get to your boat, you really want shorter, fatter heads. And when you're talking really close, and especially in rough water, you want something that actually has a concave curve in it. So ultimately here, the end game is, forget about fine tuning and things for now. Ultimately, you just want all of your lures to swim as they were intended. Basically, that's all we're trying to do. We're not trying to do anything more than that at this stage. So if you put the right lures in the right positions, the right length from the boat, check how they're swimming, and then we can fine tune them from there. All right. So the first lure I'm going to put out is this little Jets bullet head style lure. It's about probably 7 or 8 inches, I would say. So I'm going to put this out first in the shotgun position. Obviously, the shotgun is your lure that basically goes furthest away from the boat. When you're letting your lures out, obviously always put your finger on the spool. Otherwise, you'll end up with a bird's nest, basically, which is never a good situation. So I'm going to let this lure out a reasonable way, but just to the back of the prop wash, so you guys will be able to see the wash, the white water that the boat is creating. I basically want this lure to be right just inside the edge of that prop wash, because you see, marlin actually are attracted to the wash of your boat, so you don't want to run your marlin lures too far back. Stop there and have a look where it is. Tuna are a different situation. But the marlin, definitely, they will come right up to your boat. They will grab lures literally within almost touching distance to the back of your boat. So alright, that's probably alright for now. So what I like to do is just get all the lures in the water quickly, make sure there's no tangles, and then I basically stand back and have a good look at them and effectively tune them, I guess you could say. I'm going to use this Jets sausage dog, and I'm confident it's going to work well in that longer position, obviously because the shape of the head is nice and long and slender. My little dog down here, Luna, just heard me say dog, and she's wondering, who are you talking to? Yeah, it's a dog like you, Luna. This is a sausage dog lure. All right. Be a little bit shorter than the first lure I put out. You want different lengths and different height if you can, basically so they don't tangle. And as a principle, your lure that goes out furthest goes out first. So I'm not sure if you guys can see out the back there. I'll give it a bit of a pull. So where that that one is. So that's probably, oh, I don't know, it's hard to estimate, 30, 40 metres behind the boat, 30 metres. Put that one down there. And then in the shortest position, I'm basically going to run this one. Like I said, it's got a shorter head. This is called a Jets Insane. Beautiful concave head there, slightly angled, really nice lure. We're going to run that one in closer. Now the other thing people do as well is, to be honest, it's sort of a habit, I don't know what it is, people tend to oversize their lures. So by running lures that aren't massive, you can always catch a big fish on a small lure, but it's hard to catch a small fish on a big lure. So gone are the days where I actually run massive lures, to be honest. Typically out here we have striped marlin, which obviously are one of the smaller marlin species. They don't get huge. So a lot of the lures I'm running are in the sort of 6 to 10 inch type range, 10 inch being absolute maximum. All of the ones I'm running today are sort of around the 8 inch mark. Now this one is going to be basically closest to the boat. Not going to go out far whatsoever. A little bit further than that. Alright. Okay, so the lure's basically in the water now. Now you'll watch other videos where they say you should, your boat creates pressure waves, okay? And you should basically stagger your lures in those pressure waves, and basically starting a couple of pressure waves back and then putting your lures in one pressure wave after that. To be perfectly honest, it's almost impossible to see pressure waves unless you really know what you're looking for, and it's especially hard on a rougher day. So I don't worry too much about the pressure waves. Just stick to the basics. When you're trolling for marlin, keep all your lures staggered but within the prop wash of your boat. When you're trolling for tuna, you can actually go out a lot further because tuna typically gets spooked by your boat. So I've got 3 lures running there. They're all at different lengths. They're at different heights. Sometimes, like I said, I will put this one up the top in the hard top, but the barcrusher hard tops are incredibly tall. You need to be about 14 feet tall to actually reach it. So that's basically it. I'm now going to watch those lures and I'm going to tune them and move them. If you have a lure that is pulling out of the water a little bit too often, what you can do is just drop it back a little bit further. So I'm just watching this one here. It's pulling out a little bit more often than I would like. So I'm just going to drop it back a little bit.
Yeah, that's pulling very good.
If you're in doubt if your lures are swimming well or not, sometimes it's good to jump up on top of the fly bridge. If you've got a fly bridge like I do, then just have a look from up above how they're going. See if you're swimming quite well at the back there at the moment. Haven't had a single tangle all day, so the beauty of running less lures. Haven't caught anything, but that's beside the point. Now if you guys have a look, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but the prop wash on this boat, really the heavy turbulence white water is just right down the actual very middle of the boat. And even those 2 rods now, those 2 lures, they're swimming a good 1.5 meters either side of that turbulence. So that's what I'm saying. On a single engine boat, you don't really need outriggers to get outside of that prop wash, basically. Those lures are easily outside it at the moment, and I've got the shotgun position sort of right at the end of the prop wash. Now if this thing had dual engines, that would probably be a different scenario. The prop wash would be a lot wider, and I would say you would need outriggers to get outside of the prop wash. But look, this is also why, you know, big game boats with twin engines and stuff, they do need it because they will create a lot wider prop wash than what you're seeing here with the single outboard. And going back to the pressure waves, basically the best place to have your lure, if you can identify the pressure waves, is on the front edge of the pressure wave, the edge closest to your boat. However, if you are having problems with your lure holding, if it's a really rough day, it's not holding in the water, yeah, just drop it back a little bit. It is not the end of the world if the lures sit on the back side of the pressure wave. So look, that's pretty much all I do, guys. I'm not doing anything fancy here. No outriggers. 3 or 4 lures only. That's it. Never more than 4. Okay. I ran a teaser. I do run like a witch doctor style teaser when fishing for marlin as well. That works really, really well. So it's just 3 lures and a teaser. Don't overdo it. Don't get caught into the hype. Basically, when the fish are on, when the marlin are around and there's bait around, you know, I've just had these things swarming around our boat, attacking lures all over the place, and yeah, you don't need any of that fancy gear. Now, when it comes to sort of style of lures, I primarily basically use Jets lures and pakula lures. Now, the reason I use them is, to be honest, they are fantastic quality. So here's a roll of pakulas here, and Jets, fantastic quality. They catch fish, they do catch fish, and as always, I look for things that are value for money, so these lures are value for money. Touching on colours just quickly while we're here, I can tell you now that almost all the marlin that we have caught have been on Lumo, dark purple and dark blue. Okay, it doesn't matter. Like, I've been in a situation where last year we had a purple lure out, and all day that lure just got hit continuously. Non-stop marlin hookups on that lure all day. Not one other lure got hit. It was a short-faced, cup-headed, dark purple lure. With the tuna, haven't really noticed as many color patterns. Definitely pink always goes well. Bit of pink, orange, white. Sometimes the more natural colors like blue type stuff. But oh, I hope you guys found that interesting. So in a nutshell, that's basically all I do. Don't go over the top. Minimum rods, minimum gear. Keep it as simple as possible so that when you do hook up, you actually have a chance at landing the fish of your lifetime. Thanks, guys.